good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome again to another episode on Talk Architecture podcast with your host, Naziaty Muhammad Yaacob. And today's topic is the first of a series of topics that are under one umbrella of referring to an article that has been highlighted in the Facebook group. The article is called "Why Are Design Drawings Getting Worse?" Explained by architecture, engineering, and construction professionals. I'm going to read bits of the article, and the first one today is the first episode, which is going to be an overview in the beginning and also focusing on the first topic, which is the loss of practical skills and hands-on knowledge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the introduction, and then I'm going to read that topic, and then I'm going to comment it, and it will not be longer than 20 minutes. So here we go with this introduction of this article by Igor Goryatchev, the owner of ESD Solutions. I know how to deliver your project yesterday. Steel detailer with constructability focus. So this article was produced in LinkedIn on November the 13th, 2024. Igor writes, "Over the last couple of years, the sad truth has come to light, observed by professionals at every level of the construction industry. Today's construction drawings simply are not what they used to be. Comprehensive integrated drawings have given way to incomplete, conflicting, and fragmented sets. This is frustrating for those working out in the field and affects the efficiency and quality of projects from start to finish. For a sense of what's driving this change, we reached out to experts from the various corners of the construction world: architects, engineers, steel detailers, and project managers. Here's what they said regarding why quality is slipping and what might have been done to fix it." So to start off the first topic of the first episode, here we go. The title is "Loss of Practical Skills and Hands-on Knowledge." Okay, I'm going to explain later about this after I've read the quote here. This is a summary of what this person, the writer, has got from his research with the different professionals. Here you go. There's no getting away from it. Technology has changed how we all work, but it's also changed the skill set needed to create construction drawings. Today's design teams might be sharp on software, but they often lack practical experience in construction. Gone are the days when people used to work their way up, learning the nuts and bolts of construction before moving to design roles. Nowadays, most team members come directly from schools with technical skills but without field experience. This shift suggests that drawings may look polished, but they do not consider practical challenges arising on site. The slip-up occurs in the small, crucial details, bringing about many avoidable problems on site. Quote from Structural and Mechanical Designer, United Kingdom. "We're seeing design teams that know the software but are out of touch with the realities of construction. This disconnect creates designs that work on paper but can fall apart on site." The concerns are there. The resident architect, the resident engineer on site, they get those drawings from the drawing office, and then you can't really build with the set drawings. And where does the problem lie? So there is a suggestion here that there is loss of practical skills and hands-on knowledge. meaning that the people who draw at the drawing office, they do not have this practical skills and hands-on knowledge. They had not been on site. They did not work as a site architect or engineer. Now, this is quite typical, even before technology is more advanced as it is now. We have heard reports of this before in my country, Malaysia, as well, that people just seem not to be able to understand construction. Sections doesn't work. Details doesn't work. We're not even going into those drawings. We're going into plans. But don't you work plans with sections and elevations together? Don't you refer them together and see whether it all makes sense and is all got the right dimensions and the right information that produces the drawings to get the buildings to be built? There could be several things here. One, the person who draw the drawings that is going to go to the site doesn't really understand construction and was not taught properly at the School of Architecture where they went. Because there's a suggestion here that you get people straight from school and working on these drawings. It could be any factors that lead to that. It could be that there are not enough staff at the design office to do the drawings, in which in that case means the fresh graduates need to do the drawings. And that is inevitable because at School of Architecture, people can go through all degree and masters and not really do proper construction drawings. I've had in 9 years ago, a student of architecture at the master's level telling me that they don't do detailed design. They leave it to the engineers. So pushing away the responsibility and not actually understanding or being told that architects don't deal with the detailed design could be one of the problems. And even if they were taught in architecture school how to do detailed design, how to do properly sections and construction drawings, did they really understand? Was it more of a copying and pasting? And was it more of, understanding it in a very basic way and not really understanding different ways of construction? Now, there is lack of experience for sure. If you take fresh graduates and they are supposed to be the ones that are doing the drawings at the drawing office, and you take it on board that, okay, it should be good enough and just push it onto the site without checking it. And, the whole deal about checking those drawings, who's going to have the time to do so? It's literally, you need to do the drawings yourself because there could be so many mistakes. So end up, people at this site, they have to go and redo it or just make it, simplify it, or something could get lost. Maybe the intention of the designer was there earlier in the design office, but then it's not on site. I have worked with a company that takes care of this, the fact that the design that is going to be built must be the same as how it is done at the design office. The associate in charge of that particular project need to double check on site as well. And then when the contractors do the wrong, somehow there could be another factor constructed in a way that is not good enough, worthy of what the architect has drawn out. The associate of that company and in charge of that project would tell the contractor to take out everything out and redo the construction. I saw it myself. This is a company that does that. However, it depends on whether, that the associate or whoever that is following up could be another person and is just guessing, okay, that's the way they want it, and then we'll just correct the drawing so that it can suit on site. But then when the design architect comes to the site, they see that it's different than what they had envisioned. So who's at fault? So the only way to take care of that is double checking. This is the process from drawings to reality. And that involves an investment on time to actually take care of how the design will transpire as a built form. So you can look at the junior architect, fresh graduate. You can look at the middle architect who has a lot of work to be done and can't really supervise and double check. You can have the problem of the senior architect or associate who don't have time or unable to go to the site and double check the drawings at the design office. Or you can also blame it on the partner who doesn't actually remind or double check or randomly do some checking of drawings at the design office. And there you go. The design comes out, the drawings come out from the office to the site. So you can have the resident architect or the site architect and the engineer looking at the drawings and then thinking, okay, it doesn't make sense, but I'm just gonna, because, it's such a hassle to communicate and they take some time before they're going to do it and the construction is delayed. I'm going to have to do some decisions here and I'll make decisions. So you can see that there's so many factors relating to this. And of course, this article is good in a way that is highlighting things that is of concern with regard to the technology and advancement in softwares, but the lack of understanding of construction and how that old school or the way it was done earlier when we actually double check the drawings. And we can't blame technology really in here. You got to look at how technology can help us. That we do realize that technology is allowing us to complete the drawings quicker, especially plans. But then when you come to detailed drawings, it needs to be sorted out. In BIM or Revit, and it is supposed to be easy to see in 3-dimensional, the joints after you've done it properly with those softwares. So that knowledge of lots of practical skills and hands-on knowledge using a software at the design office can be a crucial thing in which the drawings are useless or the drawings cannot be used for construction or done. So that is the critical factor here why this article came out. Excuse me. Let me go to some comments based on this article. It's kind of interesting, the comments made. And I assume that this one is pertinent to the first topic today. Someone called Scott Van Tiefelen, expert technologist, says that there is another factor that was sort of touched on, and it's knowing how to operate the software. It's not the same as knowing how to put a drawing together. We know that in working drawings or technical drawings or tender documentation, that the plan section, elevation, and other detailed drawings need to be actually all coordinated and integrated, and they all have to be reading the same thing in a way that putting together makes sense and you have a nice solid building. So what this guy said, also Scott says, is some of the crucial old school skills are no longer being taught to the up and coming professional at the post-secondary level. We're talking about university. In universities, the old school skills are no longer being taught. That is true. That is true in a way that I would like to comment personally what I see in the school of architecture that I used to study. I'd like to interject here with regard to this topic. Students of architecture in the first year, second year, third year, third year. Okay, that's a degree, post-secondary level. They come into the school of architecture, they learn a lot of stuff. And then, but when it comes to design, they only do design because in terms of conceptual design, schematic design, there's lack of detailed design. So if there is no project that deals with detailed design, and especially at the third year level where it's a comprehensive design project, then you won't get students of architecture actually going through this old school skills where how to put a drawing together. Now, it could be a very basic thing like at the second year level where they put up, do a tectonics exercise, for example, how to put things together, and don't get them to do only concrete buildings. Teach them buildings that are like steel buildings that you need to actually understand the different members, or timber buildings, and then show them case studies and make them sketch on site how they are joined together. Because even if, even if whatever it is, whatever, you can't say a wrong and right to this. Whatever they do, they look at a particular piece of architecture that has been built and which is constructed in steel and constructed in timber and is not covered up, and they can see the joints and they recreate the drawings and they understand the span and they understand how thick the members are, and it's a form of case study on site. There's a lot there already, and once they learn from that, they can apply it to their own project. So just say you go and do a case study where the students visit buildings and study the construction and all that, and then you have them do a design. It could be a related design to that, in which they do the plans and then they do the section, and you insist on them doing a detailed design of it, of the roof joint, for example, of floor and joists, timber joists, and so on. You can see whether when they draw that drawing, whether it is correctly done. That is the old school skills. And it doesn't take like a whole lot of time. It's just a project. That's part of the projects that you teach. If you have nowadays they would like to go and combine the subjects such as construction and materials with a design project. It's easily being done. And that's when the supervision comes in to correct it if it is wrong, starting from the design tutor. And if that is overlooked in the design curriculum, design studio curriculum in an architecture school, for sure they don't know how to do this skill of how to construct. Just look at a dry construction such as timber and steel. You can also have load bearing or composite, both concrete and steel structure. You can have like almost a working drawing of a simple building if you want to. I mean, the emphasis could go on forever. And even a much more older school than the old school, which has been done before, is actually having a pet project of about 8 weeks and recording the things that goes on in the construction site. I don't know about the legalities now, but when I was a student of architecture, we actually visited housing projects. We got permission to visit them as they construct it, from foundation to the walls and 8 weeks, what can you get with 8 weeks? So if we catch them in the foundation stage and the ground beams and the main columns and then the floor above, not even the roof, we learn already. Even for concrete buildings. Just say it is a housing project that has different phases, then you can go to the one that is already almost completed and you can see different parts or stages of construction at one site. Now, this is just getting permission with the construction company, with the architect that is doing the project. It could be a bungalow project, and you could just look at how the joints are made on site and you sketch them out, you record them, you observe and record them. This is the whole deal about architecture education. And per se, I'm not going to talk about engineering, but design engineering will be similar in my opinion. But for architecture students, that sort of understanding and going to site gives a lot of ideas on how they could approach construction and materials. They don't feel like it's an alien. An alien to them. If they went through a whole degree course, not knowing at all about construction materials and not having gone to the site at all, not being asked to sketch and observe an existing case study doing and the joints, they would not be able to learn anything, and they'd be afraid. It's like, it's alien to them. So what more going to design office and thinking design is like that, you copy paste so that, you fiddle about and you're not really understanding the construction. So it's really, really wrong if architecture students and graduates, junior architects, don't know the hands-on knowledge and don't know the practical skills and translate it to their drawings. So there you go. That is the first topic, and I hope that this topic gives some ideas about where it went wrong with regard to this loss of practical skills and hands-on knowledge, which the AEC professionals identified as a problem in the industry. Thank you very much.